My neighbor knows things about me he shouldn't. I've never told him anything. Before we begin, check your door, check your window, and make sure you're alone, because the story you're about to hear started as a simple Reddit post and ended as something far more disturbing. The person who wrote this said, "I moved into my apartment 8 months ago, third floor corner unit. I picked it because it was quiet and the building felt anonymous, the kind of place where people keep to themselves. That's all I wanted, anonymous and quiet. My neighbor across the hall, Unit 304, is neither of those things. His name is Brian. I know this because he introduced himself the day I moved in, which, fine, normal. He helped me carry a box inside without asking if I wanted help, which felt slightly off. But I told myself he was just being friendly. He's maybe 50, average everything, height, build, face. The kind of person you'd walk past 100 times and never remember. The first thing that bothered me was small. About 2 weeks after I moved in, I ran into him by the mailboxes and he asked how I was settling in. I said fine. He said good. Good you getting enough sleep. Heard you up pretty late a few nights ago. I laughed it off. Thin walls. Whatever. But I'm a quiet person. I don't watch TV loud. I don't have people over. If he could hear me, it was because he was listening for me. I told myself I was overthinking it. A month later, I came back from the grocery store and he was in the hallway. He looked at my bags and said, "Oh, you found that new place on Clement Street? Good prices, right?" I had gone to that grocery store for the first time that day. I had never mentioned it to him. I had never mentioned any grocery store to him. I have had maybe 6 conversations with this man total, and none of them were about where I shop. I said, yeah, great prices, and went inside and stood in my kitchen for a long time. I started paying attention after that. He knows my schedule. Not in a way I can prove, but in a way I feel every time I run into him, which is too often, at times that are too specific. He's always just arriving or just leaving when I am. He knows I work from home on Fridays. He knows I order food on Tuesday nights. He mentioned once, casually, that he'd seen me on my work calls. "You always look so focused," which means at some point he's seen me through my window, because I never told him I worked from home at all. I started keeping my blinds down. Last week was when it stopped feeling like coincidence. I was in the laundry room in the basement and he came in, which is fine, people do laundry. We made small talk. He asked if I'd heard from my sister lately. I have never mentioned my sister to him. I have never mentioned any family to him. I asked him what he meant. He smiled, the same easy, unbothered smile he always has. Said he thought he remembered me mentioning her once. Said never mind, he must be mixing me up with someone else. I said okay. I finished my laundry. I came upstairs. I checked my door when I got back. Locked. Deadbolt. Chain. I've been thinking about it for 6 days, and I cannot remember a single conversation where I mentioned my sister. I cannot explain how he knows I have one. There's a woman I've seen coming and going from his apartment maybe once a month. Youngish, dark coat, always looks tired. I assumed girlfriend. I smiled at her once in the elevator and she didn't smile back, just looked at me with this flat expression, like she was somewhere else entirely. I haven't seen her in about 6 weeks. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if any of this means anything. But this morning I was leaving for a coffee run and Brian was in the hallway. He looked at me and said, "You look tired. Didn't sleep well?" I slept fine. I looked fine. I had not said a word to him. He just smiled and went back inside his apartment. I stood in the hallway alone for a second before I walked to the elevator. And I don't know why I did this, but I looked back at his door. The peephole went dark. He was watching me leave. I'll update when I can.